cruise ship / hotel workers of Reddit, what is something you aren't allowed to tell us? Hotel worker here. Worked evenings and overnights for a few years now. This all doesn't apply to all hotels, but many. A lot of these will depend on how you treat the staff. Charges are the one most forgotten item. We have tons of them. If you are nice and ask where you can buy one, we will offer one. I don't care who you're banging in your room. And no, I don't know where to find hookers. Well, I do, but I'm staying out of that. We know what's good to eat. We also know where you will get sick from eating. Sometimes it's both, and I'll warn you. The pizza guy tells me if you stiff him on the tip. If you're an awful person, I'm less inclined to go out of my way to help you. I will not disclose whether you're here or not, but if the wife spotted your truck in the lot, you're still f'd. Use the safe for valuables. Most housekeepers are trustworthy, but are humans that are around your valuables. I can give you a discount. We have a little leeway with the price of your room. If we are not booked, I can knock off some cost. If we have one room left, I can also jack up the price, and my bosses will reward me for it. I have also jacked the price up, just because I don't like someone. Had some tweakers come in. Every time they asked the price again, I raised it $10. They ended up paying $130 for a $90 room. Food quality varies. Don't expect gourmet meals. We only have a microwave and oven. The eggs are from a box, but are still real eggs. Muffins are like the ones that come in the tubes. Gravy is powdered mix. Everything is Cisco, so it's not bad, but it's not great. Be wary if you see a Smart and Final truck outside. Their quality is I can't always fix a noise complaint. If it's the people directly above you with kids running around, I can get them to stop. If it's some loud sex and I can't pinpoint where it's coming from, you're going to have to wait it out. If you leave change out after leaving for the day, housekeepers assume it's a tip. Don't complain when $0.70 is missing from your room. I will tolerate your but only to a point. You can be rude, but if you get abusive, name calling, making a scene, etc., that's over the line. Yes, I can kick you out. No, you won't get me fired. Yes, I will call the cops. No, there is nowhere else in town to stay on a Friday night. Yes, I'm still going to charge you for the first night. Cancellation policy, especially if I can't sell the room again. We have everything you may have forgotten. Toothbrush, razors, sewing needle / thread, deodorant, etc. Just ask. If we are booked, I will tell you so. Asking again will not magically make a room open up. We will call you a cab, but you damn well better be ready. The cab drivers have no patience for tourists. They know you're not long-term business. If you do drugs in the room, keep it quiet and don't do anything that requires smoking in the room. We will call the cops and they will arrest you. The cops are our buddies. I'm in a small town and I'm on first name basis with them. We are a huge revenue stream for the city. If I call them, they are usually here before I hang up. They will always side with us. A night in a cell for trespassing is not fun. As an aside, they don't bother me at drunk checkpoints, so that's nice. Don't steal from the room. We will bill you for it. It will cost more than you expect. If you damage something, come clean. If it's something the maintenance dude can fix, we'll probably just bill you for supplies and an hour of his time. If you try and hide it, we'll bill you contractor rate. If something was damaged, when you get in, let us know right away in case we missed something from the last guest. Always inspect your room as soon as you check in for this reason. People do die here. About half are old people that die of being old. The other half are people that check in to check out. It's a really f'd up thing to do to the housekeepers. The housekeepers here are kind of superstitious and do not like going into rooms that people have died in. It's kind of weird knowing I'm the last person that someone talked to. The staff on most all cruise lines are not trained nearly well enough to handle an abandoned ship situation. It would be chaos if it were to happen on a large vessel. The safety briefing you go to is just theater and we want to be there even less than you do. Norovirus is way more common on ships than you would think. Security staff on ships are poorly equipped to handle a major security breach like an active shooter situation. The words bright star over the PA indicates a medical emergency is happening and is a page for medical staff to respond. The captain earns bonuses for saving fuel. Leaving port early or arriving late means the ship can go slower and conserve fuel, which means more money for the captain. I worked for a fancy restaurant in a tourist town that catered to cruise line passengers looking to get away from the ships. Our desserts were frozen and shipped to us from a company named Gourmet Chefs, so when you read the menu description and we say that all of our desserts are prepared by gourmet chefs, we aren't lying. They were just reheated and prepared by a high school kid making $3 an hour. Hotelier here. I worked in numerous luxury 5-star properties worldwide. You will be shocked if you know the food quality in buffets. I've seen yellow food coloring added and labeled as saffron sauce, pan-fried sea bass. Haha, it's pan-fried whitefish that comes in generic bags labeled whitefish. People change the expiration date on stuff so that the food cost doesn't increase. The amount of frozen food sold and labeled as fresh is astounding. A la carte food tends to have much better quality. At IHG hotels, that is Holiday Inn, Staybridge Suites, Crown Plaza, etc., if you say you're there for a funeral/death and you ask for the bereavement rate, it's close to 50% off. We also weren't allowed to mention it exists or give the rate unless directly asked for it by a guest checking in. Something else we hid from guests. Generally when a guest booked a room from a third-party company, Orbitz, Booking, Expedia, they typically paid more. Our managers had us go out of our way to hide that from guests. Lastly, if a guest came into the hotel that didn't fit their ideal guest, that is, tattoos, tattered clothes, etc., we were instructed to quote a much higher room price, and if they decided to stay, to actually charge them this inflated price. I currently work as a housekeeper, seasonal/summer. People leave anything and everything behind. Forget your curling iron? We probably have one. Need a charger? Yep. Toys for your child? You got it. If you ask, while we're in between rooms or cleaning a common area, we'd love to help you out. No one really asks. Generally speaking, hotel guests who book through Expedia and other websites are expendable if we gotta walk someone. Also, you are booking the shitty rooms at the highest price if you do it last minute. Do it long in advance, and you are still booking crappy inventory. Groups and corporate travelers always get better treatment, cause they come back and represent a lot more lodge-in term revenue than you. People that book online are like people that switch toothpaste cause one is cheaper this week. You are not loyal if you would book direct. Odds are, someone died on your cruise. Think about all the old folks you see get onto the boat. For a lot of them this is their retirement home, and cheaper than a lot of other retirement homes. They are literally taking cruises until they die, and we eventually find them in their cabins. Yay, I can finally answer this. I work at an upscale resort. Nights average $500 a night. I work in the entertainment department, meaning we help with both the daycare center and with large groups in-house that companies host. I will say that our child daycare is pretty safe. The only sketchy thing I would say is that we will always tell you that your kid had a good time, regardless if they had been crying up until just before you got there. Parents leave their numbers with us to call if the kid wants to go home, but whenever a kid complains that they want to go home, we do everything in our power to make sure that they stay, cause dollars. Also, the in-group activities that we do, biking, hiking, etc., are sometimes made up on the spot, since the entertainment dept decided not to properly train us in all of our offered activities. Newer staff, generally the people that only work summers, are told the morning of that they are running a certain activity and given a really vague rundown of how it's supposed to go and told to do their best to make stuff up, but make sure it sounds good. Companies pay thousands of dollars for these activities, but I can assure you the thought that goes into these activities is essentially zero. I work as a longshoreman at a cruise ship terminal. More people die on cruises than you realize, mostly old people. Norovirus is very common, but more during flu season. Crew member go missing, often hitching a free ride to New York City. Rare occasion your luggage will fall in the water being loaded onto the ship. The ship will give you a very shitty refund for your loss of luggage. And if you're going to a berth with more than one ship docked, make sure you know what ship you're going on. Idiots tend to let their luggage get on the wrong ship and have a lovely week without it. Word of advice: if you're getting on a cruise ship in New York City, if your ship leaves at 4 o'clock, get there at 1:30 or 2 o'clock. You will avoid the crowds and the check-in lines, and your luggage will be attended to right away. Ex-hotel employee here. If you ever need to cancel a hotel reservation, but it's already past the cancellation deadline, just call and move your reservation up a few days. Wait 5 minutes. Call back, now well within the cancellation window, and cancel your stay for free. Oh, I once had the life. I was at the top of my game in a mediocre burger joint that my family owned for generations. I used to make my kids go out and find new customers. One day I sent them to the docking harbor to convince sailors to come over. That's when it started. The captain of a cruise liner came over to my shop and offered my family and I a free night on the ship if I simply cooked the ship's meals for that one night. After taking part in the buffet I made, I suddenly realized the boat had left port and the captain had other plans for me. He threw me into the ship's kitchen with another locked up Frenchman who was slightly flamboyant and kept on asking me to kiss him. Before I knew it, my family and I were trapped on a cruise ship for life. I tried raising mutiny, but no one wanted to help a mediocre fry cook. Ever since then, I can only look through my small port window of my kitchen station as we sail past the Jamaican coast. Hotel worker here. Ask for everything you need, it will be provided. Also complain about every problem you see. You won't believe the amount of free stuff complainers get. It's awful. And never forget to tip your bellboy. I'm a front desk manager at a hotel. I want to jump in and say something before this gets real big. When this kind of thread pops up, someone always says that the front desk GSA can upgrade or change rates for a guest if the guest is nice to them / tips them. While this may happen sometimes, it is not common. If one of my employees gave someone a cheapo rate, he has to explain why. It will come up in our reports. That being said, hotels are a ton of fun. I can't think of any big secrets, but I will say this. If you have any questions or requests, no matter how stupid or weird, let the staff know. We love to help people, that's why we went into the industry. And it makes it a lot better for both the guest and the staff when we can help you while you're still in the hotel, and not when you're calling corporate after checkout to complain. I worked as an improv actor on a cruise once for 6 months. What we don't tell you is half the show is scripted, we just tie in your suggestions. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.